A single dollar, one clear gel. Sitting in your pocket right now, or maybe in your glove box, or on your bathroom counter. And in 30 seconds, it is going to do something that a $20 aerosol spray cannot do. It is going to melt baked-on tree sap off your car's paint like it was never there. No scrubbing, no pressure, no damage to your clear coat, just a slow, silent chemical melt that leaves the surface underneath looking exactly the way it did the day you drove off the lot. And the detailing industry, a multi-billion-dollar machine built on your ignorance of basic chemistry, has spent decades making sure you never figure this out. Because the moment you do, their entire product pipeline collapses. And today, right here, that pipeline ends for you. Welcome to the Buried Blueprint. I am glad you found this. If you are new here, this channel exists for one reason: to pull back the curtain on what corporations, industries, and billion-dollar marketing machines have quietly buried because the truth was bad for their bottom line. If that matters to you, hit subscribe and hit the bell right now. Because the algorithm buries channels like this one, and if you do not subscribe today, there is a real chance you never see another video from us again. That is not a sales tactic. That is just how the platform works. Subscribe, bell, right now, and let us get into it. Here is the secret, and I am telling you up front because you deserve to know immediately. The cheap fix is Hand Sanitizer Gel. The kind you buy for $1 at any dollar store, gas station, or grocery store checkout line. 60% ethanol alcohol suspended in a clear, thick gel base. That is the entire product. That is the weapon. $1. And the reason it works on baked-on tree sap is pure, undeniable chemistry that anyone can understand in about 60 seconds. Tree sap starts its life as a complex organic resin. When it first drips onto your hood or your roof or your trunk, it is warm, soft, and slightly sticky. At that stage, a little soap and water might actually move it, but you usually do not catch it at that stage. You park under that tree, go inside, go to work, go to sleep, the sun comes up, the temperature spikes, and that sap goes through a thermal curing process that transforms it from a sticky, soft resin into something that is functionally bonded to your clear coat at a molecular level. After 24 hours of direct sunlight and heat, that sap deposit can feel like a small piece of amber glued to your paint. Hard, glossy, slightly raised, and completely resistant to anything water-based. And that is the key phrase: anything water-based. Because virtually everything the detailing industry sells you to clean your car is water-based. Car shampoo, spray detailer, most bug and tar removers, waterless wash products. All of them are primarily water, with surfactants and emulsifiers designed to lift dust, dirt, and light surface contamination. They are excellent for what they are designed to do. But tree sap is not dirt. Tree sap is an organic polymer, and water does not dissolve organic polymers. It never has. It never will. The chemistry simply does not work that way. Ethanol is different. Ethanol alcohol is what chemists call a polar protic solvent. Without getting lost in terminology, what that means in practical terms is that ethanol is chemically capable of interacting with and breaking down organic compounds like resins, adhesives, and polymers. When ethanol contacts a baked-on tree sap deposit, it does not sit on the surface the way water does. It begins to penetrate the hardened resin structure. It disrupts the molecular bonds holding the polymer together. It essentially reverses the curing process, pulling the resin back toward its original soft, pliable state. And once the sap softens, it releases its grip on your clear coat. It stops bonding to the surface. And you can remove it with almost zero mechanical pressure, meaning almost zero risk of scratching. But here is the part that makes hand sanitizer gel specifically so brilliant for this application, and this is the detail that absolutely nobody in the mainstream detailing world talks about. Liquid ethanol, pure rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, evaporates extremely fast on a hot car panel. You spray it on in the summer sun, and before it even finishes spreading across the sap deposit, it is already evaporating off the edges. The chemistry does not have time to work. The solvent is gone before the resin can fully break down. You end up with a deposit that is slightly softened on the very surface, but still hard and bonded underneath. And then you scrub, and scratching happens. Every time. The gel formulation completely solves this problem. The gel matrix, the thick, viscous carrier that makes hand sanitizer feel like a gel instead of a liquid, acts as a time-release delivery system for the ethanol. It holds the alcohol in place against the surface. It prevents evaporation. It clings to vertical panels, to curved surfaces, to the side of a door or a fender, without running down and dripping off before the chemistry can activate. The gel stays wet, stays active, and stays in direct contact with the sap deposit for the full 30 seconds needed for the ethanol to fully penetrate and dissolve the hardened resin. That is the entire secret. The gel is not just a carrier. The gel is why it works so much better than anything else, and it costs $1. Now let me walk you through the exact process, step by step, so you can do this correctly the very first time you try it. Step 1. Assess the deposit before you touch it. Look at the sap spot. Do not touch it yet. Do not pick at it with your fingernail. Do not try to scrape it with anything. A baked-on sap deposit is like a small lens of hardened resin, and if you drag it across your clear coat before it is softened, you will create scratches that are far worse than the sap itself. Just look at it. Identify every spot you need to treat, and make sure you have your gel, your microfiber cloth, and access to clean water before you start. Step 2. Apply the gel directly to the sap deposit. Squeeze a small dab, roughly the size of a pea, directly onto the spot. You want full coverage of the deposit, but you do not need to flood the area. If you have multiple deposits, work one at a time. Do not spread the gel around or rub it in. Just place it directly on top of the sap and let gravity and the gel's natural viscosity spread it slightly to cover the spot. Step 3. Set a timer for 30 seconds and do not touch it. This is the hardest step for most people because everything in your instincts tells you to start rubbing. Resist that completely. The chemistry needs time. You will sometimes see a subtle visual change in the sap deposit as it softens. The surface may shift from a hard, glassy appearance to something slightly duller or more matte. That is the resin structure breaking down. That is exactly what you are waiting for. 30 seconds. Walk around the car, look at it, do not touch it. Step 4. After 30 seconds, take a clean, soft microfiber cloth and gently wipe the sap away using almost no pressure. I want to be very specific about the microfiber requirement because this step is where people accidentally introduce scratches even after the chemistry has done its job. Do not use paper towels. Paper towels feel soft, but they are made from wood pulp fibers that are abrasive enough to leave fine swirl marks in clear coat, especially on softer, single-stage paint finishes. Do not use an old t-shirt or a cotton rag unless you are absolutely certain it is clean and free of any particles. Use a dedicated microfiber detailing cloth, the kind that costs $2 or $3 at any auto parts store or Dollar General. Fold it into quarters to give yourself a clean face for each wipe. And use almost no pressure. The sap should simply lift away in 1 or 2 passes. If you feel any resistance, if the cloth is dragging or the deposit is not releasing cleanly, stop. Apply another small dab of gel. Wait another 30 seconds. Try again. Never force it. Step 5. This step is absolutely mandatory, and it is the step that 90% of people who discover this hack on their own will skip. Rinse the treated area with water immediately after wiping. You can use a spray bottle of clean water, a damp cloth, or run the hose over it. Ethanol alcohol is safe for automotive clear coat on brief, incidental contact. But you do not want an alcohol-based product sitting on your paint for an extended period, especially in direct sunlight on a hot day. The rinse takes 10 seconds, and it fully neutralizes the alcohol, removes any residue, and leaves your paint completely clean and safe. Do not skip this step. That is the entire process. 5 steps, $1, 30 seconds of wait time, 0 scratches, 0 damage. And you will stand there looking at your paint, completely clean, completely unharmed, and you will feel a very specific kind of anger when you start thinking about how long the detailing industry has been taking money from you that you never needed to spend. Because now I need to tell you about the scam. And I want you to pay very close attention here, because this is not a conspiracy theory. This is a business model. It is documented in their product lines. It is visible on the shelf of every auto parts store in the country, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The bug and tar removers. The sprays in the aerosol cans price between $12 and $20, with names that suggest military-grade power and professional results. Most of them are formulated with water as the primary base, with a relatively small concentration of solvent mixed in. Enough to work on fresh, soft contamination. Enough to lift a bug splatter that hit your bumper this morning, but fundamentally inadequate for a sap deposit that has been heat cured onto your paint for 2 days under a summer sun. The solvent concentration is not high enough. The water base dilutes the effectiveness, and because it is a spray liquid rather than a gel, it runs off vertical surfaces before the chemistry can activate. The product does not work well on the problem it claims to solve. The manufacturers know this. Their own chemists know this. The product exists not to solve your problem completely, but to partially address it, to give you enough of a result that you do not return it, while leaving enough of the deposit behind that you feel like you need to work harder to remove it. And that is where the bug sponge enters the scene. The abrasive detailing pad, the professional-grade bug eraser, marketed as the essential companion to the spray remover. Priced separately at anywhere from $5 to $15. And this is the device that actually does the heavy lifting of removing the hardened sap deposit, but it does not do it through chemistry. It does it through mechanical abrasion. It grinds the deposit off your paint surface, physically, with friction. And here is what the product packaging does not tell you, and what the detailing brands are banking on you never learning. Every time that abrasive sponge contacts your clear coat while working on a hard deposit, it is creating micro scratches. Fine, shallow abrasions in the surface of your paint's protective layer. Under a single overhead light source, they may not be visible immediately, but under bright afternoon sun, under the angle of a setting sun hitting your hood at 30 degrees, under a shop light in your garage, you will see them. The swirl marks, the haze, the spiderweb pattern that makes your paint look older, duller, and more worn than it actually is. That damage is real. That damage accumulates every time you use the product the way it was intended to be used. And here is where the business model closes the loop in a way that should genuinely make you angry. What fixes swirl marks and clear coat scratches? Paint correction compound, polishing products, swirl removers and scratch correctors. Products that cost anywhere from $15 to $60 per bottle and require either significant time and effort by hand or a machine polisher or both. Products sold by the same brands that sold you the bug spray and the abrasive sponge. On the same shelf, in the same store, sometimes in the same bundle kit. They sell you the product that damages your paint, and on the shelf 2 feet away, they sell you the product that repairs the damage their first product caused. And if the damage gets bad enough that you cannot address it yourself, you take it to a detailing shop and spend anywhere from $150 to $500 on a professional paint correction service. All of it tracing back to the decision to reach for that aerosol can and that abrasive sponge instead of the $1 clear gel already in your pocket. That is the double scam. Stage 1 damages your clear coat while appearing to solve your problem. Stage 2 sells you the repair for the damage that Stage 1 caused. And it only works because you do not know about the chemistry, because you do not know that ethanol dissolves organic resins, because nobody told you until right now. Before I wrap this up, I need to make sure you know where to go for more of this. The link in the description takes you to the complete buried blueprint vault. It is a collection of dozens of hidden DIY guides, home repair secrets, survival hacks, and industry exposés just like what you watched today. Cheap fixes for expensive problems. Chemical solutions that corporations buried because they cut into repeat sales. Things that are not secret in an academic sense, the chemistry is real and documented, but secret in the sense that nobody in the mainstream ever talks about them. Because nobody in the mainstream profits from you knowing. The vault is in the description. Go check it out after this. It is worth every second of your time. Let me close with the contrast that I want burned into your memory every time you walk into an auto parts store. $1, 1 clear gel, 30 seconds, 0 scratches, your paint is clean, your clear coat is intact. There is nothing left to fix. No second purchase, no polishing compound. No detailing shop appointment, no swirl marks catching the light and making you feel like your car is aging faster than it should. Just clean paint and $1 spent. Or $12 to $20 on an aerosol spray that is not strong enough to fully dissolve the deposit. $5 to $15 on an abrasive bug sponge that grinds the rest of the deposit off while simultaneously scratching your clear coat. $15 to $60 on a polishing compound to fix the scratches the sponge left behind. Or $150 to $500 on a professional paint correction because the accumulated damage got bad enough that you could not ignore it anymore. All of it, every dollar, completely preventable, completely unnecessary. The industry prays you never find this channel. They built their entire product ecosystem around your not knowing this. If this opened your eyes today, share this video right now. Send it to someone who parks under a tree. Send it to someone who spent $40 on bug remover last summer and still had to scrub their paint half to death. Send it to anyone who owns a car, because every single person who drives is going to face this problem eventually, and most of them are going to reach for the aerosol can out of habit, out of ignorance, out of trust in a system that is designed to extract money from them rather than solve their problem. Hit subscribe. Leave a comment below telling me what your car looks like right now. Tree sap, bird droppings, road tar, baked on bug splatter. Whatever it is, I want to hear it. Because every one of those problems has a cheap chemical fix that the detailing industry does not want to go mainstream, and we are going to cover all of them. And if you think bug and tar removers are a scam, wait until you see what they are hiding about cleaning your car's interior. The truth about what fabric cleaners and leather conditioners are actually doing to your upholstery over time, the long-term damage hiding inside every spray bottle, and the $2 alternative that works better and does not degrade the material with repeated use. Subscribe so you do not miss it. The next blueprint opens soon, and what's inside is even heavier.